Peter Alexander joins us with more on that. Peter, morning.
Savannah, good morning. 6 more Senate Republicans have now signed up in support of a bipartisan effort to rein in the president's efforts to unilaterally slap tariffs on foreign countries, but the White House has already threatened to veto that bill if it ever passes. And President Trump, he remains undeterred in his commitment to what many economists warn is a risky tariff game, arguing that any member of his party who backs down for the president's trade war is, quote, weak and stupid. With President Trump's next round of escalatory tariffs set to go into effect at midnight, the president insists that despite rattled markets and recession fears, he's not considering hitting the pause button.
We're not looking at that.
After the president initially said every country has called to negotiate, President Trump's top advisors are now saying more than 50 countries have reached out. European officials offer to eliminate their tariffs on American-made cars and industrial goods if the U.S. will do the same in return. Despite the market suffering their worst days since the start of the pandemic, the president says he's unfazed by short-term financial pain.
I don't mind going through it because I see a beautiful picture at the end.
Administration officials have also been saying Americans will overlook temporary market turmoil.
Americans who have put away for years in their savings account, I think they don't look at the day-to-day fluctuations of what's happening.
But many may be invested. Research from the Federal Reserve shows more than half of American households own stock directly or through investment funds. Top Democrats say the president's tariffs are a self-inflicted wound.
Less than a week after Donald Trump started the largest, dumbest trade war in American history, all the signs say America is heading towards calamity.
For now, most Republicans are standing by President Trump.
And I think you got to give the president the latitude, the runway to do what it is he was elected to do.
Still, there are cracks emerging within the president's party.
If the outcome from these tariffs is really high tariffs from every country on earth against American goods, and really high tariffs from America against goods from every other country on earth, that is going to be...
This is a coordinated monthly test of the emergency alert system. Broadcasters in our area are testing the equipment that can quickly warn you in the event of emergencies. If this had been an actual emergency such as flooding, high winds, or a chemical spill, official messages would have followed this tone. This station serves the Sacramento Valley and Sierra Nevada foothill counties. This concludes this test of the emergency alert system.
Rarely used wartime law to rapidly deport alleged gang members as long as those individuals are given due process. That means that those migrants must receive advance notice and the opportunity to legally challenge their deportation. Savannah.
Okay, Peter, thank you very much.
Got some breaking news from overseas right now this morning. South Korea's military fired warning shots after 10 North Korean soldiers crossed the border into South Korea. South Korean officials say the soldiers violated the military demarcation line. They say that the soldiers all returned to the north side of the border after the South made warning broadcasts and fired shots. The 155-mile-long DMZ is the world's most heavily armed border, protected by mines, tanks, traps, combat troops on both sides. The motive for today's border crossing by the north, not immediately clear.
Another story making headlines this morning, the uncertain future of fluoride. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is ramping up his calls to eliminate fluoride from the nation's drinking water supplies. NBC's Emily Aked is here with a closer look. The debate this has stirred up. Emily, good morning.
Savannah, good morning to you. Secretary Kennedy says adding fluoride to water is causing harm and undermining Americans' freedom of choice. But many health experts are opposed to stopping the long-time practice that research shows has significantly reduced tooth decay. This morning, the fight over fluoride in drinking water on full blast. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. doubling down on his calls to ban the mineral from public water supplies, a move that would reverse a decades-long practice the CDC has called one of the greatest public health achievements in U.S. history.
And the era of fluoridated toothpastes and mouthwashes, it makes no sense to have fluoride in our water.
The EPA now re-examining research on fluoride's possible health effects, and Kennedy telling the Associated Press he plans to direct the CDC to stop recommending fluoride in drinking water or fluoridation nationwide, pointing to a recent report that found a statistically significant association between higher fluoride exposure and lower IQ scores in children. But that controversial analysis done outside the U.S. looked at fluoride levels more than double what federal regulators currently recommend in drinking water. The mineral has been widely added to water in the U.S. since the 1940s, preventing cavities, reducing oral health disparities, and saving money for everyone, according to the CDC. Dr. Margaret Lockery is a board-certified pediatric dentist.
I'm really worried for my patients, especially the most vulnerable of our populations, our children, people with low income levels that may or may not be able to access dental care.
The American Dental Association supports fluoridation, writing in a statement, "The growing distrust of credible, time-tested, evidence-based science is disheartening."
I would anticipate that emergency room visits would go up, and it would just increase the overall dental decay rate in our population.
Fluoridation is a decision made at the local level. Kennedy has the ability to order the CDC to stop recommending it and can work with the EPA to change current fluoride limits. Legislation, meantime, restricting fluoride in water has already been proposed in a growing number of states, with Utah recently becoming the first state to ban it. That goes into effect, guys, in just a few short weeks.
All right, we'll be watching. Emily, thank you.